You remember a time when small things used to excite you, waiting for something special, looking forward to tomorrow, feeling a spark when you plan something new. But now, something feels different. Nothing feels as exciting as it used to, not in the way it used to. And you keep asking yourself one quiet question: why don't I feel excited anymore? It's not that you don't have things in your life that should make you happy. Maybe you have opportunities, maybe you have goals, maybe you have people around you, but the emotional response isn't the same. You know something is good, you understand it logically, but your heart doesn't react the way it once did. It's like watching life through a slightly faded lens. What if happiness didn't disappear, but your emotional response changed? One reason you may not feel excitement anymore is emotional fatigue. When your mind has been under constant pressure, stress, or overthinking for a long time, your brain can shift into a protective state. In that state, your system prioritizes stability over stimulation. Excitement requires emotional energy, and when that energy is low, even positive events may feel neutral. You don't feel sadness necessarily, you feel numbness. Is it possible that you are not unhappy, just emotionally drained? Another important factor is routine saturation. Human brains are wired to respond strongly to novelty. When life becomes predictable, excitement can slowly decrease. Not because your life is bad, but because your brain stops treating experiences as new. If every day follows the same pattern, your nervous system stops generating the same level of emotional response. The world doesn't feel less interesting. It just feels more familiar. Have you been living inside repetition without realizing it? There is also the psychological effect of expectation overload. In modern life, we are constantly exposed to stories of success, happiness, adventure, and achievement through social media and cultural pressure. This can create subconscious pressure that tells you your life should feel extraordinary all the time. When reality feels ordinary in comparison, it can suppress emotional excitement. You start thinking something is wrong with you. But sometimes, nothing is wrong. The expectations are just unrealistic. Are you comparing your internal life to someone else's highlight reel? Sometimes, loss of excitement is connected to unresolved emotional experiences. If you carry suppressed stress, grief, disappointment, or frustration, your brain may reduce emotional responsiveness as a coping mechanism. This is not a conscious choice. It is your mind trying to prevent further emotional pain. The result can feel like emotional flattening. You are not necessarily sad. You are just not deeply feeling joy either. What happens when the mind decides that feeling less is safer than feeling more? Burnout is another major contributor. People often associate burnout only with work, but burnout is fundamentally emotional and cognitive exhaustion. When you have been pushing yourself for too long without genuine recovery, motivation and excitement naturally decline. Your body and mind may be telling you to slow down, not through words, but through absence of enthusiasm. Is your lack of excitement actually a signal that you need rest? There is also something called hedonic adaptation. Humans tend to return to a baseline level of emotional response after major positive or negative events. This means that even if something exciting happens, the emotional high may not last forever. What once felt thrilling eventually becomes normal. This is not failure. It is how the human brain maintains balance. Did you expect happiness to stay at peak intensity forever? Another reason could be loss of purpose clarity. Excitement is often linked to meaningful anticipation. When you don't feel connected to your goals, or you are uncertain about your direction in life, future events may not trigger strong emotional motivation. Your mind may not see something to move toward, and without a sense of direction, excitement struggles to grow. Are you living towards something, or just passing time? You might also be experiencing what psychologists sometimes call emotional numbing. This can happen when your brain reduces emotional intensity as a defense against stress or trauma. It doesn't mean you are broken. It means your mind is trying to protect you from overwhelming feelings. But the protective mechanism can sometimes feel like disconnection from joy itself. What if your mind is protecting you by reducing emotional intensity? It is important to understand that losing excitement does not automatically mean depression. But persistent emotional numbness combined with other symptoms such as constant fatigue, hopeless thinking, or loss of interest in most activities may require professional support. Mental health is not something you should struggle with alone if the condition persists. So what can help bring emotional energy back slowly? First, stop forcing excitement. Excitement is rarely created by pressure. Instead, focus on small experiences rather than big expectations. Walk outside without purpose sometimes. Listen to music without trying to feel something specific. Allow your mind to experience moments without demanding emotional performance. Your brain needs space to generate curiosity and interest. Constant stimulation through social media, overthinking, or information overload can suppress natural emotional responses. Silence is sometimes necessary for the nervous system to reset. Third, reconnect with simple curiosity. Ask yourself what you used to enjoy before life became complicated. Not what society says you should enjoy, but what naturally attracted your attention when you were younger. Fourth, accept that excitement is not a permanent state. Life is not supposed to feel intensely thrilling every day. Emotional stability is not the absence of happiness. It is the ability to feel calm without chasing constant stimulation. And perhaps the most important realization is this: you are not defective for not feeling excited all the time. You are not broken because your emotional response has changed. You are likely tired, overloaded, or going through a phase where your mind is prioritizing survival and stability over stimulation. Excitement may not return suddenly. It may return quietly, in small moments, in soft curiosity, in days when something simple makes you pause and feel a slight spark again. So the next time you ask yourself, "Why don't I feel excited anymore?" don't rush to judge yourself. Instead ask, "What is my mind trying to protect me from?" Because sometimes the absence of excitement is not the absence of life. It is the presence of exhaustion waiting to be understood. Like, subscribe, and join our journey into timeless depth. Share your thoughts below.